Welcome to What the Biz, where we talk about building successful businesses, balancing life, and all the WTB in between. With your hosts,
I'm Bridget Vector.
And I'm Dan Prochko. What's going on? Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of What the Biz. I'm Dan. I'm your marketing systems guy, your marketing strategist, etc. And I'm here to tell you, newsletters rock. Email is still strong. Don't knock it. It's amazing. We're going to tell you all about it today because we're talking about reigniting your newsletter and to not let your list go dead, etc. I'm excited about this because I just did a whole talk where I researched a ton about first-party data, email included. So I've got so much stuff top of mind. We're going to get into this. With me, as always, is Bridget Vector. How you doing, Bridget?
I'm doing good. We are living in your favorite time of year, the fall with the rain. So I just keep watching like our crazy wind outside going, is that tree going to fall over or are we not?
Yeah,
it's been crazy.
Yeah, the wind yesterday. Oh, I've loved it. Oh my God, I loved it. I was like, can I work outside somehow? Oh, there's too much rain. All my electronics are going to fry. I'm like, We have eaves on our house, wonderful eaves. So we were able to even open windows on rainy days, as long as there isn't a ton of rain. And it's one or other, just a pitter patter, a cool in the house, but the house is like somewhat warm and you can cozy. I don't know. I love it. Absolutely love it.
That would make me want to take a nap. That's like,
oh no. Yeah, no. I feel
like
that too. I totally feel that too.
Sounds like the white noise and the cuddling in a blanket. Yeah. Oh, well, I'm totally excited about today because I know this is your wheelhouse. And I totally agree that email lists, newsletters, any of that communication is so important. And we should be sending things, and some of us aren't.
So look, I'm going to jump into some stats here. Okay, just a couple of numbers. We did some research on email, not just like what's out there in terms of like benchmarks, but also we looked at our own customers, that we do email for. And we found out that on average, this is the benchmark, $36 is the return for every dollar spent on email. Okay. That's a 36x return. I mean, that's nuts. Some of our clients are doing $42 return on email. Okay. So, and like, those benchmark numbers are based on like major big companies, et cetera. And we're talking about small mom and pop type stuff that we work with. So like email is hugely valuable. So it's amazing that so many businesses neglect email and don't make it a major part of their strategy. And I wonder, why do you think that is? Like, what do you think's getting in the way?
Well, I can speak from my perspective because I lived here for a little while. We actually have been working really hard to bring our list back to the forefront and just hitting send, right? Making sure that we're connecting with them. So for us, we were sending emails here and there, and I know some business owners neglect it for a long time, right? And it isn't, I'll say, it wasn't because I didn't care. I don't think it's because any business owner doesn't care. I think we do care, but we don't know what to say, right? Like I always got stuck in the overthinking. Like, am I saying this the right way? Is this the right copy? Is this going to resonate with my audience? Or I also get stuck in the world of like, nobody's actually reading this. Like I'm putting all this work in and nobody's opening it. When they unsubscribe, you have that like gut feeling of like, oh, they just quit me. Like they don't like me. And there's a lot of like, I think there's just a lot of mental barriers to just hitting send on these darn emails. And we never want to be spammy or, like sitting in a place where we aren't being authentic to ourselves. And I think overthinking puts us there automatically instead of just writing what we have top of mind or what we know is valuable. So those are just my takes on what's holding people back and what held me back.
Yeah, I think unfortunately there's a lot of organizations or teams out there or individuals that think, let me just mass email a ton of random stuff that's not valuable is for some reason valuable in some way. And all it does is like clutter up our inboxes. And in the end, And in the end, that like prevents others from wanting to send stuff because we feel that on our end. I think you're totally right. We feel oh, all these people are sending crap. So why would I send crap? And the funny thing is what we send is not crap. Like if we were doing it right, it's not crap. I'm just gonna keep saying crap a ton of times. I mean, if you do it well, it's not. So like, I think the things to say here is like, look, silence is probably worse than a bad email though. Okay. Like if you haven't done it in a while, and I'll say I kind of fit in that boat from time to time. I like to create sequences, and then when those sequences are over, I forget to start a next one. So I'm got multiple sequences that people can start. But if you haven't written email in a while, yeah, you get rusty. It's like anything else, getting back into the flow. And so it may not be the best. That's okay. People will forgive you. If you're a good company, especially if they're clients, they forgive you. That's fine. Okay. The key thing is, I think consistency is the key. And the more consistent we get with writing, the better we get at it. But then people are trained to look for our emails or know that they're going to get them. Okay. And then that's because we need reminders. Because if we don't see an email for a while, we forget that we exist. We're really bad at this. Like I realize this too. It's like I haven't seen friends in a while, etc. And then I realize like a year later, why haven't I talked to that friend in a year? What happened? Or like there's a TV show, and this is why like, oh, I'm gonna get off topic here. Like the whole new Netflix, Apple, like their whole cycle for making TV shows, you get like 2 to 3 years in between seasons. Like Sandman on Netflix, love the show, but the last season, it was 4 years from the previous season. Like you forget the show even exists. And then when it comes out, you're like, do I want to watch it? I don't know. I don't remember if it was any good anymore. That's the same thing with businesses. So if we don't communicate enough, people just forget about us.
That's such a great example. Like when you're sitting there waiting for the next season and it doesn't come, you silently quit it, right? So you're right. Like people on your email list were probably invested in what you were saying. It doesn't mean that they read every single one. I mean,
True.
some of the the things that I'm subscribed to, it doesn't mean I catch every single one. And I think this is important in what you were just listing is just because we feel like we're sending too many emails doesn't mean everybody's reading all of the emails. We're all busy, right? So they need those little reminders. And some of your best leads are already living on your list. They just forgot that you exist, and it's not their fault. They're busy. We're busy, right? They just need to be reminded. And you never know when they need you the most. It might be when that email lands in their inbox and they're like, oh, that's my solution. I needed them.
Yeah, 100%. Oh man, so true. I mean, we can't, if we're sitting here waiting for another dollar to come in or another lead, you can't wait. It doesn't happen out of nowhere, So if you don't send something, how do you expect a return off of anything? So look, we're not talking about, when we talk about newsletters, we're not talking about huge, giant monthly newsletters. And I don't know about you, Bridget, but I don't like those actually. I tend to like, very focused emails about a single topic. I don't know. Where do you fall? Do you like the really big ones, or do you like, single topic, or do you fall in between somewhere?
I will say in my industry, I'm going to speak to this. The emails that I get from other like accounting firms or CPA offices are exactly what you're talking about. It is a monthly email blast. They have links to a ton of different articles and their nice corporate header. And I will say I get lost inside of that because it doesn't feel personal. Like I just feel like there's too much. And it's mostly because they're coming with a lot of information all at once. And people don't have time to read that. Yeah. So I'm more on the camp of give me a really great thing that I can know if I relate to in the first sentence or 2 or 3. And then I'm going to read whatever that one topic is that you're talking to me about. Much easier than this huge email blast. And some of my favorite people that I watch for emails to come in from, it doesn't mean that every single email they're sending to me I'm into or I resonate with, but there are enough in between. So I say that to say a great newsletter to me is one that is the small, the simple, you see the personality, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, that's just my personal take. The big ones I get lost in,
Yeah.
and I
I
don't
hear
read them.
value. I tell you, I just hear value right off the bat. I mean, if you're putting in, 30 articles into it, if every synopsis is valuable and helps me understand which one to read, cool, great. But I'm with you. I feel like I get lost in a lot of those emails. I think a few things in an email makes a lot more sense. Single topic, you can even go a little bit deeper and provide some deeper value rather than always having somebody click off of it. Like you said, we're all busy in some way. So look, I think a great small businesses newsletter, from what I'm getting at here, like, look, it's simple. Even if it has multiple things in it, it's thematic in some way, but simple. Like, we understand why these things are here. They're probably personality driven. I would kind of call that culture as well. They embody who you as a business are and how you talk about things. They're going to have value. They have to have value. If it's just a ton of read this article, or see us on Facebook, or we posted this on YouTube, it's like those phrases and language doesn't drive value at all. But if things are more benefit related, of like, solve this issue, we're going to solve this for you, even if it's something tiny, that's value, and then consistency again. So I think those four things, being simple, you're culture driven, you got value, and consistent. I think those make a great small business newsletter, because our subscribers know we don't have huge teams. We don't have huge marketing departments, and when we say consistent, we don't mean that has to be daily or even weekly, but it should be consistent enough that people know it's coming. And because of the value, they know to look for it and are excited when it comes.
Yeah. I think it's noise, right? We've talked about this before. We could probably do more episodes on this. The world is noisy. The internet is noisy, and people don't want that. So I think when you mentioned, it being personality, that's what they want. They want something relevant to them. They want the honesty, something from a real human. And I think just in our current place that we're at, with businesses marketing to each other, there are some key things that are working. One of those being behind the scenes insights. When a company can see behind the scenes of your company, or when your ideal client can see that, it makes you human. And I don't mean just the perfection of the behind the scenes, give them the real stuff, right? Because they're going to know that you're a real person then. Anytime you can share quick tips or mistakes to avoid, that's helpful information. Maybe you have a great FAQ section to questions that you're receiving all the time. Share those answers. A newsletter or an email doesn't have to be super long. It could be just a few sentences saying, hey, we're getting asked this all the time. Here's our take. Case studies. If you can share those case studies or wins or what might be beneficial to your audience, hugely valuable. And kind of like what we do on this podcast, right? Sharing the real talk about being in the middle of owning a business and how horribly messy it is, and none of us are doing it perfect, are just some of those. I will say we have been testing. So not everybody loves to read a newsletter, right? Not everybody loves to watch a video. For us personally, we have been testing in our weekly newsletter, not only having like a tip or a story or something, but it ties directly to our YouTube video that we're putting out. So if they don't want to read, they can go watch a really quick YouTube video that we put together. That's been our test right now. Don't know that it's going to fly or not fly, but that's currently what
cool.
we're doing. So if they want to read the story, great. If they'd rather listen to it, they can go listen to it on video.
No, that's pretty cool. I mean, I think what I'm kind of gathering from those pieces that you just talked about was, like, we have to remember email at first was a communication platform. It's about a conversation. If we just look at newsletters as they're just broadcasts, then like everybody will know they're broadcasts, because that will come through in the way we write stuff and the way we make things. But if we write them as like, hey, I'm sending this to start a conversation with you, that's cool if you don't reply, because, we're all busy. But If you do, that'd be great. But I want to write it in a way where it's like, hey, here's our thoughts on this. Here's the learning. Take this. What do you think? Et cetera. I think it goes a really long way when it relates to email or even SMS, social, anywhere. Like, you got to remember, these are platforms for engagement, communication.
I love that you just said that. And I kind of chuckled because I think in a few of the email platforms, they call it a broadcast. And it is such a difference. Like,
yeah,
you nailed it with, this is supposed to be a person to person conversation, not
Yeah.
this mass, like, let me just throw all of my stuff on the table and hopefully you buy one of the things.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if you send an email to 100 people or 10,000 people. You're still trying to communicate with them, not to them. And the moment, I think the moment we lose that is the moment things start to become not valuable and they start to look like spam and feel like spam. But the moment we remember, oh, there's a person who's going to take this on. And I don't want them to feel that feeling of, oh, I just want to delete this, then we have to make sure it's got that value piece of we're communicating with them. There are times where there are messages that, yes, you just want to get out there because they're urgent. Like today, I actually sent a broadcast out today. And it's because I had a client who messaged me that they received the notification to give access to their Facebook Business Manager. And they got this email and it was legit. It came from the Facebook platform. Okay. And when I say legit, I mean from the fact, like, it was from within Facebook for real, done through their platform, but it was from a fake agency. So Facebook's security systems on flagging who's doing malicious things are not really great. But I got this, and thankfully they messaged me because I was like, no, don't click it. If you did, we need to blah, blah, blah. But when I saw it, I was like, this is crazy because this is coming from within Facebook. All of my contacts need to know this. Like my newsletter list, they need to know this. So yeah, I sent it out like hey, you need to know this. But the end, of that email is just like, hey, if you click this, it's okay. Get in contact with us. We're here. This isn't just for you to know and like worry. Let's talk. Let's make sure we're doing this. So yeah, I sent it out like, here's what's going on. Here's why it's malicious. Here's what it looks like. Here are the steps that you need to take. And if you did the wrong thing, let's talk. Okay. Reply back, call me, yes, I'm sending this out for you to know, but this is a two-way street. We need to get on this together and communicate. So even when there are things that are that emergency blast, hopefully they're just emergencies, but that we still remember it's a two-way street. They need to be able to contact us back. Erica,
well, and that's a
get back with us.
high value reach out with the personal touch, right? Like, we're also here to help.
Yeah, right. We're here to help. And you know what? I hope nobody got bamboozled by a scam like that, because they are getting, that's from within Facebook. Like, they had a real business manager account and they were just picking random pages and just sending out requests to have access to it. And it's just like, wow, if one's not really looking, one just clicks, view invitation, sure, accept. And at some point you're just like, wait, why don't I have access to my Facebook page anymore? So that was scary. But back to the emails. I do want to put a little piece in here is, one thing I think some people get hung up on is the look and feel of things. We're not all designers. So you don't have to try to be. Many of the email platforms have templates that you can use. Just use them. Okay. And you don't have to go fancy. Honestly, some of my favorite email newsletters that I get don't have any formatting to them. They're literally a logo. And then it's just as if someone was just brain dumping one sentence per line. And I know it doesn't look great, but that's not the point. The point is I'm subscribed for the value and that relationship. And so that's why anybody would subscribe to your newsletter, is for the value and relationship. So just keep that in mind and keep your template simple. So, all right, moving on. Okay. So let's just say, Bridget, we've neglected our emails for a really long time. Okay. And we wanted to get it up and running again. Okay. I think you and I, we've talked and we've got a 1 week plan, and I don't want to share this. Okay. When I say 1 week, it's 5 days. There's really 5 business days in a week. Keep your weekends. You got to have your own time. Okay. So let's go through this map that we put together. Okay. 5 days. Okay. Day 1. Okay. Now this is if your list is cold, but even if it isn't cold, This will help you just keep it going. Okay. Day one is a brain dump. Okay. So look, next week, Monday comes around and you're going to get your newsletter up and running. Day one, it's a brain dump, brainstorm day. Okay. So on Monday, what you want to do is think about your current clients. Okay. What were maybe the last 5 conversations you had with clients? What problems did they have? What questions did they ask? Write them all down in a bulleted list. Each of those is an idea that you can use to create an email. Okay. Every single one of them. And from 5 conversations, I mean, you probably have 25 different bullet points that you've written down. Like every single question they asked, every topic you covered in those conversations are all an individual email that you can write about. So that's day one. You want to take day 2 or do you want me to grab this?
I got it. So day 2 is, you've got your ideas. You don't have to hop into them yet. I think it's great to start with a "we're back" email. So I know we kind of chatted about this. You can make it as simple as a subject line saying, "We've been quiet. Here's why." You can keep it real. You can keep it short. Put anything in there that you feel like sharing and make it helpful inside of that, right? So simple script here. Hey, so-and-so, right? You put your little brackets in to get their name pre-fill from your list. It's been a minute. We've been head down serving clients and building some incredible systems, and it's time to start sharing again. It may even be, that we've been growing. We've been building our team. We've been changing direction. We're now offering this. Whatever it is, just kind of drop a note, right? Then mention, we're going to start sharing every week, every month, whatever it is. Say you're going to send a short, punchy tip to help you, whatever it is. Maybe it's getting them more clients. For us, maybe it's fixing their cash flow or finally feeling confident about their numbers. Or for Dan, maybe it would be, getting your cleaning clients back in front of their ideal clients, right? How to reignite getting in front of their clients. Whatever it is, you're going to just start dropping a hint at what you're going to be helping your audience with and just keeping it simple. Like, we'll see you next week. Sign your name. It does not have to be hard, but that first "we're back" email kind of will bring your audience back to life to say, hey, they do still exist. And then they're going to be waiting for that next email, which is going to help you start the momentum of continuing to send those emails, because nobody wants to say "we're back" and then not send the next email.
Yeah. That intro email, I love it. And I've done it multiple times because I've fallen off the bandwagon multiple times myself. And sometimes I'll also include like, hey, here's what we've been working on. That's a little bit of self-promotion, but it's that behind the scenes of what we talked about at the beginning of the episode today. It's that, look, it's messy in the background. We had to retool our whole business. Things have changed in market. We had to retool so much and build a whole new blah, blah. So we didn't email for a little bit, but we're back and we have all these learnings from all of that. And we're ready to share it with you. Like that even goes further because it's like, you've improved your business. You get to share a little bit. The reason I'm saying all this is that intro email is really a trigger, yes, for people to unsubscribe. And I know everybody's like, oh no, I don't want people to unsubscribe. We even talked about it, that fear of it. That's okay. You're not going to keep everybody forever. And you only want people who want the message anyway. So if they are opting out, that is wonderful for you. Okay. Now, again, you hope it's not too high because you don't want to get that negative ding, et cetera. But it is a great place to do it because you don't want to send those first few messages out that you think are super valuable. And then you get dinged with all of this negative stuff. And then like your account might get blocked. That'd be horrible. So I love this. I love this email. I absolutely love it. All right. Day 3. Okay. We've got that intro email out. Get ready for XYZ. That was day 2. Day 3, you're going to map out your emails. Okay. So if you say you're going to do weekly, you're going to map out weekly emails, like maybe quarterly, get to 13. That's not really that long of a list. 13 weeks. It's not long. Plus, remember on day 1, we just mapped out 25 ideas. So, we've got plenty and you're just going to list them down, like email 1, the biggest mistake I see in blank. Easy. Email 2 might be something like 3 tools that make blank easier. And we're not talking about writing the emails out either. Day 3 is just mapping them, just listing like, here is that topic. So email 3 could be, one client lesson I think about all the time. And then in parentheses, so what that lesson is, et cetera. And you just want to list them out. day 3. It's that simple. Just list out the topics that you want to cover.
And I love the day 3 because once you've sent the I'm back email, you're committed, right? Like you are saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to come back. And kicking yourself off with having at least the next 3 ready to go is going to help you commit and get that momentum going, because you don't want to fall off that wagon again, especially right away when you say I'm back. Which I think kind of leads into the day 4 arena. So you've got your topics for the first 3 emails. Day 4, spend some time writing them. It doesn't have to be long. They don't have to be huge, but just write it from what you would say if you were sitting across from like a best friend and they were asking you about that topic that you are going to write about. Literally just write it from your mind. You are an expert in what you're doing. Write it like you're an expert. I know a lot of people immediately go to internet to research or to AI. You are going to become what anybody else can Google. They cannot Google from your brain. Only your brain can share your brain. So don't overthink this. Like, just write it from what you would tell your best friend if they walked up to you and was like, what mistakes are you seeing in my industry? Like, great, you're sharing it. I would also say, as you're writing it, get a schedule ready. So whatever you're going to be using to send those, pick a day, pick a time, commit to it, even if only your grandma opens that email. I don't care. You are going to send it because consistency is what is going to drive this forward and give you the momentum. And along that line, I would also plug a day in on your calendar where you're always writing your next 3 emails ahead. So whether that be once a week, once every 2 weeks, because if you happen to kind of fall off schedule, you're far enough ahead that you're not going to say, oh, I don't have anything prepped. I can't send anything this week. How many people just resonated with what I just said? And I'll raise my own hand because I've said it too. I didn't prep it. I can't send an email. Stay ahead.
No, I love it. I mean, what was the time of day on day 4 that you were doing the writing? Just put that in the calendar as a repeating event. Done.
Yep.
You blocked it out already. Just block it weekly. Done. And honestly, you only have to write 1 email a week. So I love like that during this first week, we're writing 3 right away, giving us 3 weeks of buffer, and so over time, you'll find out you'll get better at writing. And in that time frame, you'll be able to write 2 emails or 3 emails or 4 emails, giving you even more buffer so that when inevitably you don't have that time available, you have that buffer and there's always going to be something ready to go out. And don't get hung up on the toolkit. Okay. Like whether you use MailChimp, ConvertKit, or maybe you're an FG Funnels or High Level or whatever that is that you're working in, Constant Contact, it really doesn't matter. I know some of the best newsletters started from a personal inbox. I'm not saying to do that because there are some canned spam laws and reasons not to, but I know that there are many that started as just personal emails to just a network. And then that grew into larger newsletters. So the tool doesn't matter. It's the process of going through it. So love it. So look, okay, we got all the way to, we have them written and we've scheduled. So what's day 5 for? What's left? Well, this is where you set up your template. Okay. So we've built 3 emails. Okay. We know what that layout looks like. Now we want to make our life even easier. Okay. Most of the email platforms allow you to save a structure of an email as a template. So you can just reuse it over and over again. And that's all you're going to do. Okay. You're going to make sure your logo's at the top. You've got your text boxes, your CTA done, and that is saved. And that means you don't have to think about rebuilding it every week. You just log in, load up your template, paste in your text or write in your text, and you're ready to go. So often it's all these little things around the work that distract us from doing it. So the more that we can put in place to prevent those distractions, the more likely everything is going to happen. So yeah, that's day 5. Pretty simple, pretty easy on day 5. So make sure you hit that.
Yeah. And touching on the CTA portion, because I think this is where the value gets missed inside of emails. You're not ever telling somebody what to do. Like if you're just sending a bunch of words and not driving them to do something from those words, you're not going to get I guess, the engagement or the payoff that you're looking for from your email list. And it doesn't have to be a buy now. Like, it doesn't have to be something that you're selling. It could be something as simple as, hit reply. So if you've stated something that maybe is a question or could be a question, or you want feedback, ask them to reply. You could get super valuable information just by somebody engaging with you, which is what Dan talked about. This is supposed to be a conversation and engagement. You could ask them to share it. Maybe they know somebody else that could value from what you're saying. Maybe you offer a free session to talk with you, or, a free intro or some sort of freebie. Have them book it or ask them to book it. Maybe you offer a downloadable, thing that could be a checklist or a resource, or maybe you have a downloadable book or something, right? Whatever it is, you give them a CTA at the end of that. And I think if you can have a list of a few things to cycle through for a CTA, you never want to be sending the same thing over and over again. So just kind of have stuff ready of what do I really want them to do at the end of this email, or what would be valuable for them to do. It could even be challenging them, kind of like we are with you guys today, to take 5 days and make a huge difference in your business. Maybe you're telling them to go spend 30 minutes doing something that you're recommending.
So true. So let's talk about what mistakes to avoid. Okay. Well, this will be real quick. One is trying to be clever. Don't be clever. Just be clear. Like Bridget was saying, just write from your mind. Write the way you would talk to somebody, because that's, like we've been saying, a conversation. If your email is starting to approach like a few thousand words, you might want to pare it back. Okay. We're not writing blog posts. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some newsletters that I do receive that are essays, but that's what they are. And I don't think most of us are journalists where we're writing essays. So, we don't need to be that long. A lot of the value we can provide can be done shorter. And then people are going to want to read our emails. Okay. Only emailing when you want to sell. This is why so much feels not valuable in our inboxes, because everything is trying to sell instead of providing value. Okay. So anything we send should be valuable. Don't treat email like social media. It's not the same. I think just done. And then don't wait till you're ready. That's why we're talking about this process and having a system that makes it easy, and having a few banked, ready to go or pre-scheduled, because inevitably writer's block may hit, or you may not be ready or able to that day. You always want to have something, because you want to meet that promise of that weekly email and keeping yourself top of mind.
I think the biggest trap that business owners also fall into is getting in their head and thinking that nobody cares. I promise you that they do care, but they need to hear from you. They need to know that you still exist, and attention spans are short. So your insight might be exactly what they needed to hear this week. And I love that you said, don't make it an essay, because again, attention spans are short.
Yeah, totally. All right. So what can you do?
Yeah.
I think now is the time to stop avoiding and start typing, start sending, get back into it. I think quickly is pick a day to start. When are you going to send your emails? What's that day that you're sending? Is it every Tuesday, every Wednesday? There isn't a wrong time. Just at a marketing conference last week, and we were talking about this, and honestly, unless you've tested various different times, there really isn't a wrong time. I think the time that you should send is the time when your people are awake. When are they awake? That's going to be the best time to send. If you're in the Eastern time zone, you don't want to be sending at 1 a.m. Nobody's awake anymore. Okay. We're all asleep, ready for the next day. Okay. And I think that's number one. And then number two is really choosing the day that you're going to start this 5-day process. Because once you can commit to the day that you're sending and to the day you're starting, you're kind of up and running. Okay. I think those two things really come to mind as the key 2 action points to take right now so that you get started. Anything else that you think we should keep in mind?
I think I would just say using those client convos, like we said, keeping it short and having that CTA be connection. I just love, pick the day, start it. Get through your 5 days. It's going to happen. To recap those, day 1, you're going to brain dump those ideas. Day 2, you're going to write that "we're back" email. Day 3, you're going to map your next 3. So take those ideas that you came up with on day 1, get your first 3 ready. Keep them simple. This does not need to be hard at all, and it does not need to be complex. Day 4, you're going to write those emails and pick your day and time for the scheduling. Like Dan said, for just having that day, pick whatever software you're going to use. And day 5, get that template built. So it's one less hurdle that you're going to put up for yourself to say, I can't send the email. I don't have it ready to go. I don't have a template. Just get the template done. Makes it easier.
Something came to mind, which was your list may not be huge, and trust me, ours wasn't either when we first started, 20 people, 10 people. Honestly, I started a newsletter with 3 people. Okay. Like, it doesn't have to be huge. The point is that you start somewhere, because you start building that relationship with those individuals. And the longer you're emailing, the deeper that relationship gets. And I know everybody's like, it's just email. But think about the TV shows we watch, the news we watch, all those people. That's all people start feeling connected with personalities, with a brand, etc. And they'll start having that relationship with you as well. So you just need to start showing up.
I love that. And you mentioned it, but I'm going to say it again. Unsubscribes are good. Please do not be afraid of them. Too many at one time kind of stinks. But they are great because you are nailing your list down to the people that want to be hearing from you. And that is ultimately where we want to get at the end of the day. Because the right people don't need your fancy funnels. They don't need all these high-tech things going through their email. They just want a connection with you. And these emails probably would be or will be the thing that builds the most profitable human part of your business. And I will stand on that mountain until the end of time about how important email is.
Hugely important. So if you are finding yourself with a roadblock or like a brain block or some thought around it where you just can't get started, message us, whether it be somewhere on our socials or emailing us, show@whatthebiz.com. Would love to chat with you, help you get over that block. If there was something here that inspired you to get started, we'd love to know. Leave us a review wherever it is you're listening, Apple, Spotify. Those are great places. Leave that review. We'd love to hear from you. And Bridget, what's next for you? Where are you going? What are you doing? Where are you focusing?
Actually, we're after this airs. So before this airs, I would have been at the state volleyball tournament. So taking my earplugs to,
Cool.
not go deaf during that. And we are in Q4 season of really encouraging people to get stuff prepped for tax time now.
Yeah, because next year, once it hits, holy cow. So you're going to get busy real fast. I remember that season for you. It's always busy every year. And then afterwards, just like, how'd it go? Oh, we're like still busy.
Yeah.
And then a few months later, I'm like, well, how you doing? Oh, we're still busy. So I don't know if your busy season ever ends, Bridget. But anyway, cool. Well, hoping all the best at the tournament. I hope they go far. And I am, as always, prepping for some improv. We've got a Halloween show, pretty cool, Hero's Journey. It's a totally improvised like story plot that's all Halloween based, and then also doing a political satire on a presidential debate. Should be pretty fun. We got a very talented cast, and they debate for a fake city office. So the audience gets to choose what are they debating for. So we don't even know before we show up, which makes it crazy.
So it's picked live.
It's picked literally live right before we start. Day of, literally 5 minutes before we start, I go to the audience. I'm like, hey, what do you want on the debate for? Like, what's the post for the city? And I'm usually guiding them in like not something that's real. Okay. And so then we just have a lot of fun poking fun at politics. It's a lot of fun. It's a good one. Other than that,
that's awesome.
I think it took, before we jumped on, I just, and I said during the show, just came back from a marketing conference I was speaking. So figuring out what to do with that talk, because I have that recorded and the audio didn't turn out great. So I got to figure out whether I want to like dub over it or if I'm going to just re-record the whole talk, from here in my office and kind of get it right. I got it right the first time, but get it better right. I don't know if that's a way to do it, but figure that one out, because I think it was so valuable exploring, what's happening in search and advertising because of AI and privacy, and what that means for businesses regarding building their email lists, their text message lists. So I love that we talked about this topic today, but trying to figure out what to do with that. I know what I want to do with that. I want to get it out there. I want it out there for people, but how I'm going to do that is the piece, because the audio didn't work out. So I got to fix that.
Well, maybe you can do part of it on an episode here. We'll stay
Ooh,
tuned.
yeah. Maybe next week we do that. Maybe we'll do part of it on an episode. That'd be great. Yeah, let's do that. Cool. With that, if you have ideas for another episode, let us know. whatthebiz.com. You can leave a voicemail or shoot us a message through the website. There's something you really want us to explore. We'd love to do it for you. But with that, we'll see you on the next one.